So we're starting over here for now because my little buddy Gray wanted to be in the video. Hi, Gray. Say hi. No. I just finished Kamen Rider Zero-One about, a couple of weeks ago, and I've waited to kind of do my thoughts on it because I wanted to let it sit. If you saw the thumbnail, or at least the title of this video, I said, that Kamen Rider Zero-One is an almost perfect season. And I mean that. From the beginning, I would say up until episode like 35, 40, but we'll talk about that. It had me. It had me so good, and the characters, the villains, probably some of the best Toku writing I've seen in a long time. Upgrade. Okay, so we'll bring the camera back over here. That I had seen in a while, right? And the thing is, I'm not as familiar or versed with Kamen Rider as I am with like Super Sentai, and even some of the other more obscure ones like Just Risers, if you've seen that shit. Maybe I'll do an off the cuff on that someday. But fucking Zero-One was great. I don't know what the consensus is with the Toku community type people. I don't follow a lot of communities. Like, I follow certain people on like social media and stuff, but I don't genuinely follow like the consensus or the rule is for different things. I kind of just go with whatever I like, I guess. But man, it was good. The design of Zero-One, fucking amazing. I think it's one of the better looking Kamen Riders that even if you go back and look at some of the older ones, one of the best looking designed ones. The themes, the motifs, the metaphors, the symbolism, I just thought was great. There were so many really clever homages to like past works. There's like certain subtle things to like what's the thing that Blade Runner's based off of? Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? The novel, and just all sorts of stuff like that. And I just was like, and I'm a pretty big science fiction guy. That man, the entire season, I was just like, just waiting to see what would happen next. I know that's kind of normal with Kamen Rider, but man, with this season in particular, it had me hooked. Now, I do have a couple of things, but before I get to those, let me say a couple more things. The villains, they were so good. Even the dude, what's his name? I can't remember what the actual character's name was, but he became Thouser, the Golden God Thouser, and he was such a fucking terrible person that like they buried him so hard in that first half that he was, to me personally, he was beyond redemption. And that kind of goes into one of the things when I say it was almost a perfect season, but it's not really the season's fault in my opinion. I'll explain why in a minute. They buried him so hard that, man, just some of the shit he did. Now, from here on out, I'm going to be talking spoilers, so if you haven't seen the season yet, I would stop this and go watch it, because it is so worth it. But I'll say a couple more good things. It's got a very Mega Man X kind of vibe to it, and I fucking love Mega Man, so, like, shit. Alright, so, how it was almost perfect, right? Now, once you got to about episode 30, 35, from what I read up on it, because there seemed like there was like a jolt in the storytelling, right? And the reason I think that happened was kind of like everything else this year, COVID hit. Now, I didn't realize that a lot of the shooting hadn't been done yet, I guess, or something to that effect, because they actually had to change certain ways, I guess from what I was reading, that they were shooting things, because, and again, I could be completely wrong on this, and if I'm wrong on this, well, then the ending really does kind of suck, but, like, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt for what they had to deal with, because Japan, I know, had really strict COVID regulations at the time when this was supposedly being shot, so, anyway, they had to kind of change and pivot the full scope of the story and what they wanted to do. So, Bowser was just a piece of shit. I mean, this guy was fucking terrible. He was so bad that to get his goal, to realize his goals, he was able to take a random person who was my favorite character, Fua. Fua was my favorite character in the show. He was just so fucking badass. But he was just a normal guy before the season started. And after he joined the Special Forces unit, they had fucking memories implanted in him by fucking Thouser, the guy who played Thouser. Just so that he could cause fucking all this shit to happen so that the people would so that the androids would start to gain sentience because he hated them so much. And to cause like the chaos and the anger and the malice and all that shit. And I was like, wow, this guy, this dude's the main villain. Like, he's got to be like the main fucking, the final guy. That's what they were leading up to, right? I felt like that's what they were doing. And then the arc kind of came back into play. And don't get me wrong, the arc was good, but what I thought was going to happen, I thought the arc, because they showed that the main character, again, spoilers, you know, the main character would become the arc at one point. And so that made me realize, like, okay, so humans can fucking go. Oh, another twist I thought was gonna happen was that the main character was gonna also be an android. That was one of the things I thought they were building up to, because certain ways that he was able to do things that no other human could do. That made me think, like, okay, maybe he was an android from the beginning. He was just like so perfect that he was like the dream of humans and androids. I thought that's what they were leading to, but they didn't. And I thought that when he became one of the villains, I was just like, I mean, that's fine, I guess, because it shows that he was strong enough to beat the Ark, but I was like, would have made more sense if Thouser became him. Now, don't get me wrong, when the other guy, I forget what his name is, I should have looked it up, but, you know what, there's going to be a quick editing magic here in a second. While I'm pulling this up, the music from Kamen Rider Zero-One, amazing. I have realized on my running mix, so when I go running, that's one of the first songs I listen to. So good. New Life, another great track. That's the one thing with Kamen Rider I found that I actually like more than Super Sentai. Now, I consider myself more of a Super Sentai fan, but Kamen Rider, man, the music is always like, it's always so good. I think that their music is genuinely on point with every season. But anyways, let me find this real quick. Okay, so I just looked it up. Originally, the show was supposed to have 49, but only had 45 episodes because of COVID. So I'm assuming that those last 4 episodes, I just had to make script changes from episode 39. Yeah, episode 39 is kind of where things kind of changed for me, where I was just like, it was still good, but it wasn't as good as like the first half of the season, in my opinion. That's kind of where it. So Hirobi became like the final villain that, and honestly, that worked. I think Hirobi being like the eccentric, like religious terrorist type person, I think it worked, because in the ending he had to learn how to feel and accept his emotions and the responsibility that comes with that, right? And so I thought his ending, where he was the final like boss kind of guy, was perfect. And I thought that he needed that final bit of redemption. Now, I do think that the death of Izu didn't need to happen, but mostly because I liked Izu so much I didn't want her to die. But it worked. I thought it worked with him. With Aruto though, like that, with him becoming like a fucking arc demon monster thing, I just didn't think it worked for me. But it was still good, just not as good as it could have been. And then just to show you just how like, the guy's name is Guy, the Guy Amatsu, the guy who's Thouser. How fucking like they just threw away such a good villain, like just a piece of shit villain you love to hate, was when fucking Arc version of him just destroyed him in one hit, and then like that was it, and he was gone for like 5 or 6 episodes. So, I think they missed out on a big opportunity that they could have done more with him. I don't think that they should have redeemed him. And that's part of the, it's funny is with ABARERANGER, I see a lot of people that don't like that Abara Killer became a good guy in the end. I actually like that. I like that he did get redemption at the end. With Thouser, though, I just was like, nah, he should have stayed a bit. Like, don't get me wrong, it was cool when he finally teamed up and became a good guy. But I think it would have been better if they would have just gone the whole 9 yards and made him one of the main villains, if not like the main villain instead of Hirobi. Now, visually, the final battle between Hirobi and Arden is amazing. The whole it looks like basically like Kingdom Hearts with the Keyblades all over the place, and they're running around grabbing shit and attacking each other. But clearly, episode 39 and on, you can see that they had to change a lot. Now, who knows what the original idea and plan was? I would love to find out because I feel like that would have fixed a lot of it and made it the perfect Kamen Rider season. But hindsight's 2020. A lot of things this year got messed up. So, but to take back what I said earlier about Fuwa being my favorite character, he is, but he ties with Jin. Jin was fucking amazing. From episode when he came back halfway through, I was like, yeah, and okay, and that's another thing too. The Jin thing, yeah, okay, they kind of say, oh yeah, that other guy rebuilt him, but like I was like, that's it. That's the big thing. And even with the twist with Fuwa, how his memories are, they just kind of like, oh yeah, that's this. I feel like there was more that was supposed to happen with Fuwa and Jin when it comes to like their overall arc turns and why they were back and what their motivations were. But anyway, I digress. This was just kind of my initial thoughts on Kamen Rider Zero-One. I would like to do a more in-depth review of it, so if you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments below. One of these days I'll get to it. If you have any other recommendations of different Kamen Rider or Tokusatsu or whatever that I should watch, definitely let me know as well too. So anyway, my name's Nick. I'll see you guys next time.